Welcome back to Alliant Motorsports and welcome back to the Temple of Speed, Monza, Italy. One of the fastest tracks on the F1 calendar, one of the fastest laps on the F1 calendar. We have the majority of the corners being right-handers. Turns 3, Curva Grande, and 11, Parabolica will be absolutely brutal on the front left, and all the acceleration zones from the slow chicanes like Variante Rettifilo, Variante della Roggia, those will be absolutely brutal on the rears. 5 red lights up and 5 red lights out as the cars rocket away and get ready to begin this Grand Prix. Beckyb shifting over to the inside line as he squeezes a Desi, getting a phenomenal start, but Waman emerging into second briefly. Beckyb runs wide and deep into the first corner, into the runoff area he goes, and he's busy killing the styrofoam barriers there. He loses a whole bunch of positions as Waman takes the lead of this race, ahead of a Desi, ahead of Watapatowski and Genji Jaquan behind them. Side-by-side stuff between a Desi and Watapatowski, and once again, the two come together, just like the previous Grand Prix. A Desi forced to cut the corner, losing the position, not just to Watapatowski, but also to Genji Wheaton, and now he is busy fighting for third and fourth rather than for the race lead, taking the inside into the second Lesmo. The two nearly collide, and that is a brutal collision in the back with, I believe it was a Charles Leclerc. Oh, goodness gracious. We've got two cars, two AlphaTauri cars, one on top of the other.
It looks like he was just moved up to P9. I wonder what is going on there. So he still has a fighting chance today due to the drivers who started on the mediums or switched to them.
We just caught a bit of we just caught an angle of SK Meepo inside Watapatowski on the restart. The Aston Martin driver getting a better run, however, and just slipstream now for the second McLaren driver as Waman leads us away. All clean so far, and I'm afraid to say that just to psych anything out. Just as I say that, Genji loses a little bit of his rear end and touches Watapatowski lightly. He finds himself actually behind Mr. Alta 4, who is in the meantime snuck into third position, and Genji does not give up the position. He collides with the Alfa Romeo driver, and both end up in a very awkward situation as they face the wall and each other.
Into the styrofoam. Then unfortunately Becky got styrofoam caught under his car and couldn't go until the game decided to throw the styrofoam out from under, so he was in last place after that. So very unfortunate. He put himself P1.
So getting overtaken by a Desi who lines up behind him. All of these drivers have DRS open. Beckyb goes defensive into the first corner. He does not want a Desi sneaking up down his inside, and wheel to wheel goes So Spicy and a Desi, and it certainly looks like the Alpine driver putting up a fight as best he can, conceding the position, but now he's got outer rim immediately in his rearview mirrors. The Ferrari driver taking the inside line, the car immediately in front. A Desi taking the outside does not let So Spicy get as deep of a braking in as he may have liked, and now
he made a huge mistake, not a huge mistake, a minor mistake on the entry to the first Lesmo. Lost about half a second of time. Will not have DRS for Waman. Well, maybe with pushing all of his overtake for a very long time he might, but let each other through just fine. And Watapatowski still will just be chasing down the McLaren for a while, but nothing will change at the moment.
To try to get a little bit of open track and risking potentially not catching a safety car pit window as a Desi lines to the outside of Jaquan. The two go side by side into the first corner. The Haas driver leaves them plenty of room on the first apex, but they touch wheels on the second, and that allows outer rim to get up alongside not just Jaquan, but a Desi as well, and another double overtake Wheaton for outer rim in the Ferrari. This guy's racecraft is off the chain. Falling too far behind Beckyb, conceding only about a 1/10 of a second on this lap as So Spicy and Zay go wheel to wheel down the back straight into Curva Parabolica, and that is Zay out into 7th position on the soft tires. And will that be a move a bit too soon then, as So Spicy finds himself in the DRS window on the back straight? Zay opens up his DRS. He's got that 2 Ecos, and that may well help him defend. The Haas driver going inside, weaving a little bit on the track. Zay backs off into the first corner. Scary, scary stuff until those softs become completely unserviceable. They're not losing too much ground to Beckyb, who finds himself once again in the race lead. And we're going to get back to that narrative as Waman lines up to the outside of Charles Leclerc and makes that overtake stick as well, pushing outer rim along through Parabolica. And once again, he's got 90% ERS charge saved up. He can deploy it at any moment, and He deploys it now, opening up that rear wing, lining to the inside, or behind the Ferrari, now to the outside, and that is going to be likely a very clean pass indeed as he makes that work into Australia. And along with Biggles, they are, as you all know, in a tie, in a perpetual tie for that ranking. He pits, and Alex Great now chooses the moment to dive down the inside of Klinsmann and makes that move very cleanly indeed with Ferrari and with AlphaTauri for that battle in the Constructors' Championship. But this will not be easy as Klinsmann lines to the back of Alex Great, who moves over very late indeed. That compromises Klinsmann, and that allows Wahmann essentially a free double overtake as well. Oh, that is so very scary stuff into the first corner. Trying to do, if he can slow down Adesi a little bit, that may likely end up.
Not only slow down, but here he goes on Adesi into the very into Del Rosio, braking really late, getting ahead of the Haas driver and blocking him completely on corner exit out of it.
But as awesome as it is, Jonathan Chen, meanwhile, lining up to the back of Charles Leclerc. Both of these drivers hitting the brakes a little bit here into Parabolica, knowing that there's a DRS detection point right before the turn-in, and it looks like Jonathan Chen plays that to perfection. He's going to make it past Charles Leclerc on pure merit, but now he's got Wada Potowski immediately behind him. Wada Potowski makes short work of both of these drivers and pushes Jonathan Chen to the outside line. Thankfully, he was no longer alongside the AlphaTauri car, but that is Wada Potowski making an incredible overtake on both of them. Jonathan Chen is not done fighting that battle yet, however, as he finds himself around the outside of the Curva Grande third corner. Is he going to try the dive? No, a little bit too far back, and Wada Potowski in triumphant fashion making a comeback, but suffering a loss of grip through the second chicane. Chenje much the same on exit, and he lets the Aston Martin driver go. He taps his wheel. Oh my goodness.
If you look up, it looks like it's getting a little cloudy. I wonder if the McLaren garage actually knew something that we didn't.
Well, cloudy indeed, but I don't. Oh my goodness, is Alex Great moving particularly slowly in front of this pair? Is the Williams driver, has he picked up damage? Oh, he dives into the pits. Oh my goodness, right between these two drivers, thankfully cognizant of Wada Potowski on his inside, and he may have picked up damage. He's going to plummet from the top, maybe even a puncture, but Jonathan Chen making a counterattack as we have a lapped car letting them all through, does not gain all that many points. Meanwhile, we have Ecos lining up to the inside of Zay, and Zay lets him go. The Haas driver elevating himself up a place, but try to leverage that to the best of his ability. As a reminder, outer rim 2 on brand new soft tires. We have yellow flags there in, oh my goodness, as Wahmann finds himself on the grass sweeten, and that loses him a ton of time. DuckLovers overtaking him, and is Jonathan Chen going to be able to do the same?
It doesn't look like he's going to this time around. He does not have DRS as he wasn't within that time of DuckLovers. But wow, Wahmann, P3 right behind Adesi, losing about 7.5 seconds. Not where he want to be. Chenje does get a better exit out of Ascari and will overtake the McLaren.
Fuzzy Peach citing McLaren luck, and I am not sure what that means. Did he pick up damage, or was it something else? But Wahmann finds himself the cork of the bottle as he nearly loses his rear end into the first corner, and he ends up letting Wada Potowski go as well. Nearly out of battery, as indicated by his flashing red rain light, and Jonathan Chen has plenty of battery to spare, doesn't even use his overtake button, and he pulls ahead of his championship rival into third position. If I am not mistaken, this will be his first victory of this season, despite being on the podium more times than I can count. Beckyb has had bad luck one way or another. All this time, no longer. Beckyb in the Ferrari crosses the start-finish line and wins the Italian Grand Prix just as the rain begins to fall. And brilliant stuff from Beckyb, who celebrates finally at the top step of the podium. He will be so excited to finally go clasp that big trophy and elevate it above his head. Brilliant stuff from Beckyb today, who drove a masterclass of a race. It was not easy. It never would have been after that first lap, but he showed his class, he showed his racecraft, some phenomenal tire management, and that is him with the race victory.